Yeah, so it was a bit of serendipity. When I was working here in New Jersey at a large pharmaceutical company, I was first introduced to law in trying to patent some of the new cardiovascular disease drugs I was working on. And as I was introduced to that, I learned more about it, was becoming more and more involved in the process, and along the way decided that actually a legal career was something that really was of interest to me, and decided to make a career switch. Rutgers Law, for me, was one of the schools that had both a great reputation. For me, it was important that an evening program was available. And so there weren't a lot of options in New Jersey, first of all, for law schools and ones that had evening programs, or even in the tri-state area. And so Rutgers was a natural fit because of its proximity. And to be quite honest, I really stumbled upon the MSP program only upon applying to the law school. I actually had not heard of or was familiar with the MSP program, but in applying, I read more about it, became intrigued, and so it was fortunate happenstance, to be honest, that led me to the MSP program.
Okay.
The MSP program for me was very, very foundational. Immediately, it kind of felt like a family because you had this automatic camaraderie with all the other MSP students. The actual programming itself, whether it be orientations, tutorials, just really informal mentoring and informal informational gathering, all led to a way to help navigate and ease the transition into law school and the legal community. And that was really important from my perspective. To be honest, I didn't know very many lawyers. I was not familiar with the legal field, and the whole concept of law school and the legal field was quite foreign to me. Rutgers MSP program is really, really important to me for two reasons. I think, first of all, the concept of the program itself and the fact that we're now celebrating 50 years of this program is really monumental to me. I try to think back of the founders and the supporters and what they went through and the vision that they had to create this program and then sustain this program. And I think it's just tremendous foresight to both create it and then execute on it. And so it's a program that I want to see thrive, first of all, as conceptually as a program and to help make and distinguish Rutgers Law as a law school and one of the most diverse in the U.S. For me personally, because of the family feeling and the camaraderie and the fact that I want to give back to the program that gave so much to me and gave me so many opportunities in the legal field, I feel it's really important to help both protect it and sustain it. And so, quite frankly, it means a lot to me. And the MSP family is something I want to continue to support and contribute to. There's no doubt that when you look back, from my vantage point, starting law school a little over 20 years ago and to now, and looking at the number of diverse attorneys in the legal profession, it significantly increased. And there's no doubt about that. That's a great thing. There is, I think, the next step of seeing more diverse lawyers in higher levels of corporations and law firms and the C-suites. And I think that's starting to change as well, but we still have a long way to go. There's no question in my mind that the MSP program has been a great contributor to helping diversify the numbers of lawyers and the diversity of lawyers, not only in New Jersey, but around the country. And we still need more and more of that because as the pool gets larger, there'll be a larger pool of us to continue advancing into higher and higher levels of institutions and decision-making and the C-suites. So we need this program to continue and to support it. But more importantly, we're creating lawyers that have the perspective and the understanding and are willing to advocate for those who are disadvantaged or don't have the same types of opportunities to have legal representation. And it's important we continue to advocate for lawyers that really truly understand and are committed to representing whatever communities and organizations and people that need that help. In my opinion, the need for a program like MSP is as great as it's ever been, quite frankly. And I think if you look historically, what resonates with me is when I was a young boy and learning history, in grade school, and what really, a story I found compelling was the Japanese-American internment during World War II and the whole legal process that revolved around that. And I think when you fast forward to today and you try to think about, well, what lessons were learned from that period during World War II, about interning people just because of their color of their skin, even though they were US citizens. And you look at today and today's politicians that talk about rounding up Muslims, for example, and putting them in some type of camp. It's all still here. It's all kind of circling back and starting again, maybe different group, but to me it points to the fact that we still need to advocate and learn from the lessons of the past, but it is clear that that shows there's always a need, and I think there always will be a need for more diverse lawyers to continue to advocate for all types of constituencies. To me, I've always described Rutgers Law and my MSP experience here as being transformational, not only to my career, but to my life. And I think core to that is the diversity that is Rutgers Law. And of course, Rutgers MSP is the heart of that. Because the diversity allowed me to see many, many different perspectives that I just, quite frankly, didn't appreciate. And I think it informed, it informs our analytical processes to be more open and to really try to understand all views, and therefore makes us better problem solvers. And I think it evidences the value of having a diverse group, whether it be a diverse group of lawyers, diverse group of students, and how that can impact both educating and informing their views. And so I think as long as Rutgers maintains the diversity that it's known for, we will continue to create and establish lawyers who really truly understand and appreciate a wider variety of perspectives, and therefore will be better problem solvers and better advocates. I would say Rutgers Law is the greatest. It's transformational. It is a program that you go into and you become now part of the MSP family. And there are advantages to that. Again, the diversity, the camaraderie, the experience really will serve you well in training, really any type of training. It doesn't even have to be legal training. It's just training for how to both navigate and be successful in the world, period. I am personally supporting this program to support MSP students in their summer internships because I've seen the value of the real life experience that these internships offer. And I appreciate that some are fortunate to get a position that's paid and others are not. But regardless of whether they're paid or not, that exposure and that experience is really critical to forming both the skills of the law student to becoming a lawyer, but it's also a networking opportunity for the student to see what's out there and to start to make connections to help them advance their career. So from my view, that type of experience is really critical. And I think it's important that every MSP student have the opportunity to do it and not be hindered or bound because of financial concerns. So to me, that's an important way to give back. I think that it is important that we support this type of program. And I think we should support this type of program because really every one of us who came through MSP gained some advantages through this program, and we owe it to the program to give back and help make the so-called MSP children and grandchildren that come after us as to position them to be successful as they could possibly be. The challenges for any first-year law student, and certainly for a first-year MSP student, is likely no different today than when I went through it, and probably even when the very first MSP students went through it, and that is walking into this kind of foreign culture that is law school and Rutgers Law. And again, learning how to navigate and how to be successful in that. And so again, the program certainly helps fill an important aspect in a student's life by helping them first make the transition, and then going through law school, and even after, helping them both grow from student into lawyer, and then helping with networking, and again, positioning them to be successful advocates all over New Jersey and around the country. For me, it's really energizing because it kind of helps keep us in touch. I really enjoy interacting with the MSP students when I do come back. Obviously happy to offer my 2 cents worth to the extent they want it. But I always marvel at hearing the stories about today's MSP students. Both where they came from, what they're doing now, and perhaps most importantly, hearing what their dreams and aspirations are and how the program is helping them to follow their path and succeed in really making better communities and more equal and just societies for all of us. I always am very appreciative, actually, for the opportunities to come back to Rutgers Law and interact with the MSP students. For me, both bringing back some memories and helping kind of reinforce my family memories, if you will, of MSP and Rutgers Law. But more importantly, the chance to interact with the students really energizes me. I really enjoy hearing about the backgrounds of today's MSP students, where they came from, what they had been doing. But more importantly, I really enjoy hearing about what their dreams and aspirations are now as students and what they'd like to accomplish when they get out of Rutgers Law School. And so in my mind, when you talk to these young people, it's very clear that the future is bright for all of us who are advocates. And as a MSP grandfather, if you will, I'll say I'm really looking forward to hearing about the successes of the future MSP lawyers. Today, I certainly see greater separation in socioeconomics in today's society. And I think that's one area that Rutgers MSP program is particularly poised to address. It is then more important than ever that we have advocates who are willing to both understand, appreciate, and zealously advocate for those who are disenfranchised. And those who are disenfranchised need this type of support and advocacy more than ever. So despite the fact that the MSP program is celebrating its 50th anniversary, which I think is tremendous, and the program has accomplished so much over those 50 years. When I look at today's, again, socioeconomic situation and where we are with race relations and where we are globally, I still see significant need for MSP lawyers to continue to develop and continue to get out in the world and advocate